Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today we are jumping back down into the world of Chainlink. Some interesting things going on with the price action of Link. It's looking pretty good, so we're going to jump down into the charts, take a look at what's going on, and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on where I think Chainlink is heading. Now, as I get into today's video, if you do find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, what are you waiting for? Check it out. The link is in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So why not go ahead and check it out? Let's jump right down into today's video. What we'll do is we'll kick things off with the 1 hour time frame. So here we have Chainlink paired up with USDT. We're using the 1 hour and Binance chart here as a data source. Now, as you can kind of see, we have pushed up quite aggressively. We were looking for a move here on a Y wave high, basically up on this high here between $12.12 and $12.47. It finished just a little bit short right here at $12.02, and then of course we got that natural rejection back to the downside. So it fell a little bit short of a target range here, so a little bit disappointing there, but for the most part we can see that we did move back down as kind of illustrated once we topped out on that Y wave high. So from here we can see it's and acknowledge of course 3-wave corrective pattern to the downside here, and then we continue this run upwards. So I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove the analysis that we had previously, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at what's going on over here. So interestingly enough, right, we can see that we have the white line, that is our 200 EMA. The red line is the 50 EMA, and the yellow line here is the 50 SMA. Okay, this is a new indicator that I've created for our members, and I need to figure out some stuff on that. It's not yet public, so if you're not yet a member, you want to check out the website, right? membership.cheekycrypto.io, linked down below. Now, here we can see we have a very aggressive move to the upside, and we're using the 50 EMA, 50 SMA as the support as we continue to push to the upside. Now, we can note on this 1 hour time frame that there are fair value gaps being left behind. This is an indication that there's not really an appetite to be selling Chainlink right now, and I completely understand this. But I do think it's an inevitability that we will eventually move to the downside. I'll draw your attention to this area just over here, this little indicator that I created, and this is actually now a version 2 of this indicator. This one shows you the stochastic RSI, and it gives you an idea as to whether you were overbought or oversold across different time frames. These time frames are adjustable. So if I bring this up here, for example, you can see I can change time frames A through F to what I want them to be, right? And you can see it's overbought on all of those time frames, right? This is the 1 month, the weekly, the daily, the 8 hour, the 4 hour, and the hourly. This tells us that although we're having this really nice aggressive move to the upside, that eventually the momentum is likely to shift back down, and we're more than likely going to be retracing quite heavily, specifically on the monthly and weekly and daily time frames. Those macro level views are giving us this kind of idea that we're going to start seeing healthy profits getting taken, and it's going to start to see the price action of Link go to the downside a little bit. I can't time the market, but we can see it's kind of gearing up for that. Now, in terms of our structure here, we can see that we don't really have a clear impulsive structure. So let me show you why. Right, if we just grab a fib and we run it from this low level here to this one, you can see really we just get rejected on a 1.382. This essentially tells us that this is just a 3-wave correction right there. We corrected down and then we continue this move upwards. Now, this move to the upside again here, it doesn't really have a good structure to it either. It's got a lot of overlapping candlesticks. This essentially tells us that we're not impulsive, but we do have a nice healthy correction in the middle, and we continue this move up a little bit. So it's possible that although minimum expectations have been met here, that we still continue up a little bit further before we start to see a pull backwards. We could be looking at $14.30 before we actually start to see rejection to the downside. This would look more like this. I'll just draw on a 3-wave pattern to the upside here. And so you can see that you have this, but this would then complete a much bigger kind of WXY and would actually then indicate that we will be looking for rejection at this point, as all of these moves to the upside here are only really showing us corrective action and not showing us anything more than that. It could be a double zigzag by the time it actually completes, using this high and this low as our B wave, and we might see a bit of move to the upside. But for now, my expectations are that we're going to see a little bit more of a push upwards, but essentially we are looking for corrective action. Now, if I take this to our daily time frame, you can kind of see where I'm looking, right? You can kind of see that a Y wave did push up a little bit further than expected, but we are going to be looking for an X wave correction before we continue a Z wave. This is because we've gone up higher and above and beyond the 1.382. I'm going to do some sense checks on this again, just to see whether or not it's changed to impulsive territory on the daily, or whether or not we are, we haven't yet. You can see here, I'm going to make sure I get this super accurate for you guys. So I'm going to find this wick right here. We're going to put that down. That wick down here is a low of $5.60 exactly. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. There we go. And then just scale this back out. So what you can see here is that the 1.618, this area just here, is $14.20.6. This would basically dictate to us a change of structure, right? From a corrective WXYXZ on the daily time frame, this would actually become a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? It's both 5-wave corrections, but what happens afterwards is different. So it's really important that we understand that this is going to be the trigger point for that. So if this Y wave does go up to $14.20.6 before we have a collapse to the downside, then we are in this impulsive territory. However, just because you hit 1.618 doesn't necessarily mean you have the inner workings of an impulsive structure. And I'm taking a look at this right now. We would have to see a very aggressive move in here, and it's possible that we can. I'm just going to do my sense checks and due diligence here as well, because it is important that we cover all bases. Yeah, we could actually argue that we do have the internal workings for it. So it's going to be interesting to see whether we can hit this $14.20. If we do, then this is going to morph into a wave 1, 2, 3. We'll still come down into the wave 4, and then we'll have a 5th wave movement. This would be ideal for Chainlink. This would basically tell us that Chainlink is impulsive, bottom is in, and we've reversed. Okay, so a 5-wave structure like this on a daily time frame would be absolutely fantastic for Chainlink. Now, what that means, it doesn't mean that you don't necessarily have corrections down. It just means that you're not likely to break that low down here at $4.76.1. We're not there yet. We do need to hit 1420.6 to confirm this. But if that is the case, then my expectations would be small wave 4 down, wave 5 up. And again, we'd have to make sure that we stayed above $8.46.4 to make it valid. And then, of course, we'll be looking for a nice 3-wave correction down, where we'll probably be revisiting some areas of accumulation and previous areas of resistance turn support. So probably all around this upper area here. And then, yeah, from there we can have another 5-wave impulsive break to the upside. So don't think that we're finished with accumulation, because I think there's this opportunity down here. So if we do finish this 5-wave correction here to the upside, and we cross $14.20, then a 3-wave correction is going to be the last opportunity to really get into Chainlink at these discounted prices, in my humble opinion. But that's all it is, just my opinion. If I were to kind of see this kind of play out, what would my take be? Well, I would, if I wanted to use leverage, I would go time this one down here. Our stop loss would be below the bear market low point, and well, I'm just going to keep this as a trailing stop, and I'm just going to keep this going for a very long time through the bull market, and basically milk this cow for all that it's worth. Okay, so I'll be doing that on BitGet, because BitGet is my go-to platform. And yeah, there's links to all these exchanges down below if you haven't yet signed up to it. I do think it's a good strategy to make sure you have exposure to as many different cryptocurrency exchanges as you possibly can, but do bear in mind that there are a lot of risks associated with trading, so just make sure you are aware of all the risks involved. All the details can be found in the link description below if you are interested. So that's going to be my approach here, that if we do turn this into a 5-wave pattern, then we bottom is in and we can kind of go long on the market for a significant period of time. Now, if however we just break down here and fail to hit $14.20, well, in which case there's no guarantee that the bottom is in and we can continue to move on down. So obviously we'll kind of keep an eye on it. At the moment it is just W, X, Y, X and Z, which would make me wonder about this pattern here. Okay, this pattern here would basically tell us that we still have further to the downside to go, because it would be a W, X, Y, X and Z, right? And so essentially here we're in the X wave, and if we have that reversal 5-wave pattern, it would invalidate the weekly moves here. Now, the weekly is still looking like it needs a correction to the downside. It is heavily and to kind of put this into context, we were up in this overbought range before we had the bear market low point previously. Now we're right back up here. So we want to be aware that this is not necessarily going to be the strongest position for Chainlink to be in. Ultimately, we will be looking for a little bit more to the downside so we can take advantage of what comes next. Now, as I kind of zoom out of this, you can kind of see my thoughts as to where Chainlink is heading, and it is a very, very nice one. Now, this projection for Chainlink up at $300 is subject to it going down to a low of $2.17. Now, if it doesn't go this low, it would mean, then if I take the existing low here, it would mean that we're going to be more likely talking about pushing up way above $700 for Link. Okay, now that might sound absolutely insane and crazy to so many people, but it is what it is, right? There are relationships between the Fibonacci sequencing and the wave patterns and wave structures. And so if we don't see $2.17, then we're going to see a very nice and aggressive move to the upside, and that could be very, very lucrative for Link holders. And as I said, I think we still have that one last opportunity, even if we do get this reversal pattern. So for the most part, I think Chainlink's actually in a really, really reasonable spot. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below, but I think I'm going to wrap this video up right there. If you have found it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Until the next one though, guys, have a fantastic day.